You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we've got Daniel from California. What's going on?
All right, Packers fans, let's stand up, dude. We are being slept on. We're a top 5 team. I'm not even joking. This team is top 5. People have their reservations. They have the things that worry them. But you know what? This team, if this team is healthy and this team gets some continuity at a select few spots, this team is going to be elite. We were 9-3 in Denver, okay? At that point, we were already without Elton Jenkins. We were without Devontae Wyatt. And we were without Tucker Kraft, okay? 3 guys that were on last year's team, they were high-end contributors for us. Then we proceeded to lose in the Denver Broncos game Micah Parsons, Evan Williams, Zach Tom, Christian Watson, all right, and Josh Wiley, all right. The following week, we lose John Fitzpatrick, the tight end. You're going to be like, but think about it. Our special teams is all built with tight ends and safeties, and we're without multiple of our guys. At some point, we lose that other safety we had, the white guy. I don't know his name because it's been a long time. I think Anderson or something, right? But this team is so close, and we were up 9 against the Broncos. The Broncos were the number 1 seed for the AFC. If they weren't number 1, they were number 2 and should have been number 1, but the Patriots had a cakewalk schedule. We were a full score better with ball in our hand, and then we decided to throw a deep ball against Surtain with Watson. It's that's just not a great idea. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I think you should do that to Patrick Surtain, all right? I just think that's a bad move. Watson gets hurt, everybody else and their mom gets hurt, all right? We all get hurt. That's how good we were, all right? Since Mason Crosby retired, I believe the number is we're 31st in missed kicks combined with extra points. I'm not 100%. We're going to have to double-check that stat. But if we get continuity at kicker, we have this roster as it is, right? Because this roster is good enough. We have a shot. I don't care about the Rams and their super team. We've seen super teams show up and they barely make the playoffs. This team is good enough. It's good enough with what we have right now. We have the quarterback. We have the coaches. We have the defense. It's time.
Right at 3 minutes, and there's 2 more Daniels, but I haven't actually looked or even thought of a way to try to, rank. It is ranking season. It's not usually my thing, but maybe we could try that. So I don't know if we're top 3, but why would I be surprised? First of all, having a top 5 quarterback, which that is my contention, whether it's top 3 or whatever, I don't know, maybe. But that is definitely my contention, that it is a top 5 quarterback. We have a top 2 pass rusher. Yes, only in the second half, but whatever. I love our wide receivers. Where they rank, I don't freaking know. But fantastic. Tucker is a very, very good tight end. We have one of the better safety duos in football. It looks like Josh Jacobs is just going to play. I mean, I was actually shocked today that the Packers' social media put out randomly a Josh Jacobs hype video. That seems odd to me. Now, I don't know how much oversight there is. Maybe that's one of those things they get a text message saying, "Hey, please take that down" or something. But it just seems odd that if you weren't sure how this was going to go, let's just say you're kind of iffy that 50-50 that either he's going to play or he's going to be arrested on some pretty serious charges. I don't think I'd be putting out Josh Jacobs hype just to be cautious. Of course we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and everything else as long as he's here. But we have a huge roster to make hype videos about why would we do Josh Jacobs. So it for me felt kind of encouraging in terms of they genuinely feel like it's done, like it's going away. I don't know. I was surprised to see that. I kind of felt like you're trying to keep that under wraps, keep the Josh Jacobs thing under wraps. I'm guessing if I went and looked at it, there'd be a bunch of comments that are not great that you kind of don't want as a franchise. Again, I don't know if this was just kind of a thoughtless thing by the social media team or what. And honestly, being told, taking it down might be worse than just leaving it, because then it's really going to be national stuff whatever. So you probably just leave it. But anywho, that was just a thought that I had about seeing that and being surprised. But I think it seems as though he's probably going to be playing this year, which would not have been my thought at month, few weeks ago, whatever. And I know it didn't feel like it because the run game just was not really going, especially with the offensive line being in shambles and whatever. But Jacobs is a top running back and has been since he's been in the NFL. He is unbelievably talented, and these are the things we forget about. We forget about Jordan and the running back and the receivers and the safeties and the pass rushers and all the good stuff. We just have a memory that we remember more so how the season ended, and obviously that wasn't great. So it leaves a bad taste in our mouth.
All right, I'm not done. All right, remember 2023, how great that felt? Remember how high we were going into 2024? And just and just seeing how the first week, how just Jordan dicing up the Eagles, just throwing the ball around. It wasn't the best looking game, but it just looked like this guy was special, and then he gets hurt. All right? And then the rest of that season, it just seems like there's nothing we could do to keep up with the Vikings, nothing we could do to keep up with the Lions. Like, they're just that much better than us. And it seems like it's just an identity at the core. These guys are just amazing teams. But then that season's over. And then last year, it's just we beat them, right? It's not some elite organization that we can't beat in the Lions. It's not some elite organization we can't beat in the Vikings. We did it last year. We almost beat them with no guys. Week 17, it was 2 scores, but if we had even a couple more guys in there, there's a good chance we win that game. Like the Bears, I have no respect for the Bears. The Bears are not a good team.
No, and it's frustrating because, like you're saying, that we can't judge how the season ended because that's not the Packers. If that was our team, if you remove all those players, I would feel less good. I'd feel, better than how that ended because I think there was more than just the injuries going on that, guys were not playing up to their potential and blah, blah, blah. But, I wouldn't feel anywhere near as good as the team in 2026 because a lot of our stars were not in. Again, this is where I get annoyed with Bears fans where we beat you. No, you beat a version of the Packers that is not going to be the version that you see next year. And every team can say that to some degree, but if you had to pick, the Bears get, Jalen Johnson back. That's their big thing. The Packers get Myles Garrett, Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know who else was not in there. They get those. Which do you pick? Jalen Johnson. Let's say they traded Micah Parsons, Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft for Jalen Johnson. Who won that trade, you think? It's a stupid, 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 stupid argument to pretend that, everybody has injuries. Okay, yes. It's like saying everybody has money. Okay, Yeah, some people have $2, some people have $2 billion, but yes, everybody has some kind of money at some point. Anywho, to your point, the Packers, with the roster that they have fully constructed, regardless of all the nonsense pessimism that's out there, there is no question that they have the tools to be a top 5, top 3, top team.
They're acting like, oh, we got good safeties and everything. You had decent safeties last year. You all your turnovers went out the door.
Yeah.
Not even 25% of them are left. You lost all your turnovers. They're all gone. The Bears are not going to have a consistent defense. Turnovers are fickle. Look at the 2024 Packers. They could just wake up and get an interception. But look at last year. They didn't get those picks. How different are the Bears going to be without those interceptions? All right? I don't see a world where we lose the division. I don't see, yes, they might have some offensive progression in Chicago, but they didn't invest in the defense. They didn't do anything. They got Devin Bush, who they paid for a peak season with an elite defensive roster around him. The Bears don't have an elite defensive roster. The Browns do. So they paid him, and he's not going to be as good. It's going to be regression. So I'm not worried about the Bears. The thing I'm worried about is the kicking situation, because that's what's going to swing the losses more than anything. And if we're in a season where it's week 6 or something, I say we go trade for somebody. Offer a 3rd, 4th round. Part 3. I know this is a fact-based show, so I'm backing up my information, okay? I was off by 5% on the Bears stuff. 70% of their turnovers walked out the door, all right? 23 out of 33 turnovers walked out the door for the Bears. And we're supposed to act like we have to worry about them when everything for them was all set up by turnovers.
Yep.
Like we fumbled late in one of those games, and that gave them the opportunity to come back. Actually, twice. But it was Deshaun Wright who was doing that stuff, and that guy's gone. Kevin Byard's gone. All our core is still there because we're smart. We're not just getting rid of guys just because we can't afford to pay them. Remember at one point in the offseason, the Bears, they had $100,000 in cap space. Now they did a couple restructures, and now they're, I think, I'm not looking at it right now, but as of like a month ago, they were sitting at $10 million. But this is what we're talking about. These guys don't have money. They're not managing their roster good. All right, we got to pick ourselves up. Yeah, we are in Titletown because we expect winning. And guess what? We are good enough to win. All right? Stop being negative, Packer fans. This is our time. This is our year. I don't care if Micah starts off missing a few games. I don't care if Tucker is only playing 50%, 75% of snaps to start. By the time the season's over, we're going to be on some big parade, throwing a Lombardi trophy around, and everybody's going to be like, ooh, because it's like, oh, don't drop it. That's so cool. Oh, but it's going to be like literally that level of brohood up in here, okay? Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, look, last season, everybody's frustrated, everybody's upset. I get that. My hope is that when training camp kicks off, we start to kick it in gear a little bit. We start to get excited. It's kind of like during the regular season. You endure a loss, and you're miserable, and you're angry. And we get that way, and then slowly we start to turn to next week, and we start to get excited, and we start to put the other one behind us, and we move on, and we get excited, and we say we're going to smash this team. That's kind of the path that I'd like to see people get on. I'm just ready to have everybody come back and start getting fired up, and be ready for the season. And hopefully the Packers will help us with that, because if there's news of, oh, so and so came back hurt and this guy's in a boot because he was skydiving or something, that's going to dampen the ability to do that. But hopefully we'll get some help. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Nico from Idaho.
Brian, how the heck are you? This
Good.
is Nico from Idaho. I just called to say that those two songs that stemmed from the sweaty restaurant visit were epic. The first one, The Man in the Corner Booth, or whatever it's called, actually, I mean, like Toby Keith or whoever that sounded like could sing that at a concert, and it would probably rock. And then the second one, the blues one, Sweat It Out. Oh my gosh, that is... It's funny because both of my sons are heavily into music and art. Both into music, and then the other one is also an artist. He really makes a living drawing. And so they, for that reason, cannot stand AI because it'll just make a song in 3 seconds. It'll just make a picture in, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, sometimes the AI songs are a little robotic, but that Sweat It Out song, well, really both of them, just had so much soul. It's like, man, and I know all the computer can do is copy, other styles, but it sure made a good copy. Anyways, that's all I called to say. I don't catch all the Tundra songs because some of them are like kind of rappy, and rap's not my thing. But I know it's a lot of people's things. I'm older. So when the rap hits, I just skip it. But I get it. A lot of them youngsters like them rap songs. But I like the ones that are, rock and roll and stuff, because that's kind of my genre. Marge, have you done a classical one? You should try a classical.
It's very difficult. The way the AI works, it's always striving for perfection, and even 90s can be tough. Everything kind of sounds the same singing style, and everything kind of sounds like more of a 2000s sound, and I have to work very hard. And sometimes if I can find clips, I've done that before where, obviously you can't upload. It's very good at catching. You upload like 5-6 seconds of a song, it's like, nope. But if you take little clips, I did that with Led Zeppelin, one of the songs very recently, which apparently you didn't think was very Led Zeppelin-y. I don't remember which one it was. Actually, it might have been that one, because it was kind of intended to be Led Zeppelin, but I think it had, like the direction of it was kind of bluesy, because the Led Zeppelin, I forget which Led Zeppelin song I was going for, but it had kind of blues, and it ended up being more bluesy than Led Zeppelin-y. But anyways, I think that might have been the one. But the point was, I took little clips from it to try to give it, like, here's what the guitar sounds like, this is what the vocals need to sound like. And then you got to push really hard to make it distorted and grungy and just kind of messy. Because AI is always striving to be the opposite of that. That's why everything sounds so clean, and it can do some very, very cool stuff. But trying to get it to do not cool stuff can be a little bit trickier. But yes, I've tried. It's a lot easier, and that's why there's like a lot of pop songs and a lot of those kinds of things. First of all, because I think I genuinely enjoy a lot of them. I think they're awesome. But that's because it's very good at making those and making it sound right. Some of the other stuff is, like I said, it's tricky. I can think of a couple that I've done for sure. I know one of them was relatively recently. Let me see if I can find it. Definitely done a lot of recent 90s stuff. And I try to put a little, I don't know if you guys even catch it or not, but most songs have something to it. And I'll put a little bit of something, like one of them had Mozart recently. Kind of, it was this one.
Same cold morning.
Here it is.
Same quiet after.
You get it? Obviously, this one, Nico, I would assume you caught this one. Right? Immediately, your brain should go there. Oh, yeah, and then Sweat It Out. It was I'm pretty sure this was meant to be the. So it's British rock 1970s, and it sounds bluesy, but I mean, just listen to the intro. I mean, that's very obviously, you know. I don't even know if that's the one I used. That might not have been the same song. That was one of the versions of it. This is the one that comes to mind for me. This was based off of the when Ronnie James Dio was with Black Sabbath. I'm kind of ashamed to say that's my favorite Black Sabbath album is the one that Dio did, but I love it. And there's a song on there called Lonely. I think it's called Lonely. Lonely is the word, lonely is the name, whatever it is. I think it's just Lonely. But I tried to capture that. I think it did a pretty good job. It's got a big, long guitar solo in there and stuff. So, yeah, I have definitely tried. It might not always come across because it's not going to have... It's hard to, like, what is 1970s if it doesn't have crap equipment? You know, like if the audio doesn't suck, what does it sound like? Just actually today on Tundra FM, if you didn't listen, I reposted the another Hole in the Wall from when Dan Campbell punched a hole in the wall. Obviously, Pink Floyd homage. So, yeah, I've done quite a bit. Whether it fully comes across as like this sounds like a 70s song, definitely the inspiration has been there. And there's a lot of funk, which is obviously older. Some, you know, R&B stuff from the older eras. For sure.
Classical one. Or maybe not operatic, but maybe like some Pavarotti singing tenor. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. But anyways, also just listening to the After Dark today, he started talking about soccer, and I don't know if you know this is a Packers podcast, Ryan. And I know it's After Dark and the topics can vary, but I am 100% against all soccer talk. I don't like the sport. I find it dumb and boring and dumb. People faking like they're injured. And I know I'm probably pissing a lot of people off, but I don't care. The rules are stupid. It's like, what? You can't do that? Okay, whatever. The whole faking an injury to me is what makes it hateable. But anyways, I just want to throw that in there. Other than that, I love your podcast. I'm sort of kidding, but not really. But have a great day. And I think I need a big Dr. Pepper. I'm driving down the road. I need a big Dr. Pepper. Go, go, go.
Yeah, I've never really been super into it. I like the whole World War thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of dope. The countries up against each other. I think it's. I hate to say it's better than the Olympics, but kind of. The Olympics are just like there's a million different things happening at once, and I don't know what's going on. And we got 4 medals now. Okay, interesting. I didn't get to see any of those. I don't know. It's I used to love the Olympics. I feel like it used to be better. Probably again with the whole just having 7 channels kind of thing made it a little better, and everybody was watching it. But yeah, I mean. Like I said, I as far as sports go, it's really just the NFL. I can't really get into anything else. But if I were to pick another one, it would probably be either hockey or soccer. Those are the only other ones that semi-interest me. And again, it's because there's just action. It's like football. There's always action. Even in low scoring, there's always somebody about to score. There's always that like, oh, every second. And I like that. Baseball is the worst sport that's ever existed. Baseball and, beer cheese Benny, but NASCAR. Those two I will never, ever, ever. And basketball is kind of the opposite of baseball and sort of the opposite of like hockey and whatnot because it's constant scoring, but that's what makes it boring. So it's really just like the last couple minutes of a close basketball game I can get into. Baseball, even at the end, I mean, maybe if it's kind of close in the 9th inning, it could be like, I guess I'll turn it on if it's maybe the freaking World Series or something. But otherwise, there is no chance I cannot stand baseball. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to the world. Even, the weird thing is even football, like if I didn't grow up liking it, I don't know that I'd be a football fan because I can't get myself to like college football. You know, you feel like if you love football, you'd be able to watch it. But or the XFL or whatever. Like most of us, we can't get into it. Why? Do you like the sport? Not really, Soccer, to its credit, I have no allegiance whatsoever, but I can watch and be like, oh, no. Can't really do that with football. I don't know why. I'm just saying. So that's my take on it. And again, I know it is the ultra American thing to do to hate soccer, just like the ultra American thing to do to hate the French. And I try to abide by that as much as I can. But then you watch the French and they're like, yeah, we love food. And it's like, yeah, but doesn't your food suck? And it's like, our food is meat and we love butter. It's like, oh, all right. And also we have like really good bread and, stuff. Good sweets, desserts, cheese. Like, damn it, dude. You guys are kind of cool. But, what can I do? As far as Pavarotti, I'll see what I can do. I do like Pavarotti. Again, I just put in, I hit a classical thing in. You know what would be awesome? And I'm guessing it's the funny thing about these things is, they're ripping everybody off because you go and find a random thing on YouTube and they'll be like, nope, can't use that. Like, why? Why is that? Why can't I use it? How do you know about this? Is it because you're just stripping all the music off of everything and using it to train your models, but promising that you're definitely not doing that? That or somebody else has already uploaded it and used it for their own purposes, and now it's like, oh, you're stealing that. I don't know. But anywho, I don't know if you've ever seen it. And I'm not an opera guy at all, or an orchestra guy necessarily, but if you go on YouTube, it's actually the top search for me. Maybe that's just because I've already searched for it. But type in Anthony Hopkins Waltz. This is one of those things that I forget about it, and then I remember it, and I have to go back and listen to it. It is incredible. Apparently, Anthony Hopkins, it's actually not surprising when you know Anthony Hopkins, but he had written a waltz, which is saying a lot when you hear all the different parts. And this very famous person that I can't pronounce his name, Andre Rieu, maybe? Rieu? He took it and his orchestra and created the song. And I'm not going to play it, but if I can in any way use this to make a song, I am going to tonight. If not, I'll try to figure out something with Pavarotti. But absolutely beautiful, beautiful song, and I would encourage you to listen to it. All right. Well, we only took one call. We got 3 Bruces, though, so I guess we'll take a break here, and then we'll see what Bruce has got on the other side.
Hack, get it?
Put him on.
Bruce, getting off the, I'm not going to say the R-word bears.
Okay.
R-word bears. Getting off of that topic, the Rams are the consensus number 1 roster in the NFL according to every single person, and nobody wants to argue. I personally do not feel like digging into it, but can we do a comparison of 1-to-1 position groups, I guess, of the Packers versus the Rams and why they're so undisputedly awesome, yet the Packers are expected to win 8 to 9 games in the overall consensus? And I'm not going to say that their frontline players are not very good to maybe elite, and somebody's coming out of retirement to make them even better, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, if we were to compare apples to apples, can we truly say that the Rams are better than the Packers when the Packers have owned their ass in the playoffs, which is what the 2-to-1 Feely people want to remember with their memories, and why we're not standing up for that as the number 1 team in the NFC. Just, man, there's just so many storylines this offseason people should not get unglued. People are idiots. It's just,
I don't know, man. I'm an optimist. So I always tell people to enjoy the ride. The fact that you make the playoffs every year gives you a better chance to win the Super Bowl. Not making the playoffs is not going to let you win a Super Bowl. So whether we fall short or not, enjoy the ride. If we lose, 31 other teams lose. But this year, the darling team is the hot garbage Rams that cannot beat the Packers yet. Again, you're right. I think people are tired of, good Lord, the narrative behind the Rams now are the darlings, and the Packers are tiresome because they can't win, etc. But would you...
Part 2.
Man, I was ranting and the 3-minute monster hit me. Can you, not necessarily deep dive, but kind of break it down and see how we compare to the supposed best team in the NFL? Whatever. Man, just all of it. Please, season start now.
Yeah, well, we're definitely getting to that point where we need to get it going. But, I mean, again, I will say it's a good team. If you look at, the quarterback is Matt Stafford. I think he's going to regress because he had, like, the best season of his entire career. It's hard to maintain the best season of your entire career. It just, comes along once. That's the nature of it. And then you got Puka, who is arguably the best receiver in football. Devontae Adams is still grading out in like the mid-80s, which is like our number one receiver right now. Puka had nearly a 100 receiving grade. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, if you don't want to use PFF, fine, but based on PFF, I don't think I've ever seen this. The only thing I've ever seen would be like Trent Williams at left tackle and like Aaron Donald at defensive tackle are the only two people I've ever seen. And we don't talk about Puka in those terms, but I'm telling you, based on his grade, that's what we're talking about as far as where he's grading out. It's unbelievable. And I suppose 2,050 receiving yards is worth talking about, with Devontae also almost getting 1,000. Kyron Williams graded out at almost a 90 rushing grade. That's unbelievable. Offensive line, Alaric Jackson had an 85 grade at left tackle. The left guard had a 75 grade, 71 at center, 87 at right guard. I mean, these are guys that who the heck? It might be worth digging into this a little bit. It may be of interest. I mean, I've barely heard of these guys, and they're all like rating in the 90s. This is kind of crazy. Warren McClendon, he's a 5th round pick. His grades were 55, 59, and then like an 80. I've already mentioned that I think this team is going to regress. It might be a bigger fall off than I had anticipated, because some of this is a little crazy. Like Coleman Shelton, Kevin Dotson, Steve Avila, I thought was terrible, wasn't he? I mean, I maybe not. I guess he just kind of, he had one decent pass blocking year, then one decent run blocking year, and then this year he kind of put the two together. So maybe that's consistent, or probably not, I guess. Coleman Shelton really did have a bad pass blocking year, but again, PFF is like, oh, you had a good run blocking year, then you're a good player. Stupid freaking website. Anyways, the offensive line, freaking phenomenal. Running backs, receivers, quarterback, it's hard to compete with that. Defense was better than ours, and they just added maybe the best player on all of defense. They lost Jared Verse, though, which is massive. He was 81 PFF grade type of guy. That is an incredible player. But yeah, I mean it's going to be hard to compete. Where the only real question is how much of this regresses, because I don't think the Packers get to this level necessarily. And even if they do, Rams, I'm pretty sure didn't win the Super Bowl, so it's worth noting. As an aside, you know, the Packers get all this crap for you know, crapping the bed, basically. Like, oh, they always fall apart. They never quite get a... The Rams, I mean, this was a generational football team, and they didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Okay? Just to be clear, this you want to talk about completely collapsing and falling apart? This team had no business whatsoever not just walking right through with a Super Bowl championship. It should have just been like a hot knife through butter, dude. What happened? They obviously collapsed. Not to say Seattle isn't a good football team, but this team, that was, you're not going to get a better team than that to make a Super Bowl run. You're just not. But you know what happens sometimes? Football happens. That's just how it goes. All right, Bruce, give us number 3.
Back to Daddy Bruce. What's up, man?
Dude.
Hey, I got halfway through Packernet After Dark, and you're talking about just
T. Higgins.
the documentation.
That song has been in my head all day. By the way, I set up, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You had me going with talking about T. Higgins. That's the song. And I just set up a thing on my computer where I can search my old archives and whatnot. It's kind of a cool little system. I got to make it better, but it's pretty dope. And I immediately started searching T. Higgins, and I found a bunch of episodes of me talking about T. Higgins. And it's pretty much as I expected. It's me going, I don't really like him. It's like, you stupid idiot. But that's about it. That's about it.
Of our lives and how available that is and that stuff. I'm saying, like, I've got like one picture of my great grandfather with my grandparents in a tiny little like frame that we have, and that's it. And oddly enough, one of my nieces from my wife's side of the family reached out to her and sent a copy of the podcast that I used to do. And she says, "Is this Uncle Bruce?" And my wife begrudgingly said yes, because of all the stupid shit stupid stuff that we did on the podcast. And she called me and she's like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Dude, that's actually going to be recorded forever." So there's going to come a point where my great grandkids, as long as Apple Podcasts, I'm assuming if my account continues open, those will stay on there. I don't know if there's like a lifeline on those or whatever you call it, where they get like pulled from the servers, but technically generations are going to be able to hear me be an idiot on a podcast. And I thought that was pretty cool. Secondly, next minute and a half, that was pretty good, man. I'm going to be under the 3 minutes. You like salsa, so take jalapenos, take some serranos, take a purple onion, complete, and chop that up, and then and you leave the jalapenos and the serranos complete, and then you take a nopal, if you can do that, the cactus.
It'd be a lot easier if you said it in an American accent. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. just do the white guy thing so I know what you're saying.
Right? And what you're going to do, and tomatillos, if you have those, and you toss them all on the smoker while you're smoking whatever meat you're doing.
Okay.
And then you take that and you throw it in a blender, and you take some salt, some lemon, not lime, lemon, and then some fresh cilantro, and you blend that up, man. That smoked salsa is phenomenal.
Sounds good.
And also, if you like birria, I don't know if you've heard of that.
Frickin' do.
If you've mentioned it before. Walmart carries something called a birria bomb. And you literally smoke whatever meat you want, or you can just put it in a pressure cooker, toss that ball of like condensed like powders into there, and you can have yourself some birria as well. So anyway, take care, bro. Bye.
So I've been obsessed just watching people make it, and I've been saying, I got to make that. The first time I had it, I went to a little Mexican place. My wife and I were going to go to an Italian place. We thought we made a reservation. Something went wrong, whatever. So we went around the corner, and I got the birria. That's how we say it here. You got to appeal to your white side, dude. I think you're Scottish, right? Half Scottish. Just be Scottish when you talk to me. You can be whatever. First of all, I learned that I love the rice and beans. I always would pick out the rice and be like, the rice is good. I'm gonna eat the rice. I ain't touching the beans. And I decided, again, being a grown up, and I'm like, maybe I like new stuff now. And I just took a big scoop of the rice and the beans and ate it. I'm like, that is the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. Devoured the crap out of that, which is nice too. You don't have to be embarrassed to act like a child and be like, I ate the 2 tacos and all the stuff around it is still there. Bottom line though, the birria tacos were not good. I don't know if it was the meat or what exactly. It was not good. So we went to this other place that's nearby. Dope little place. In fact, we went there once before. It was pretty good, but all I got was taco. The worst thing about getting tacos for a big boy like me is you get 3 tacos. That's barely an appetizer. I can't do that. So I saw the birria and I'm like, oh, let's go that route. And I was slamming chips. I was putting super hot sauce on the chips and everything. And it was cool too because they had their kids helping serve. So he's probably 8 or 9 years old. He went and seated us and he'd come by and ask us something and he would bow to us. He got a separate tip for himself. But anywho, yeah, they brought out the birria and it was the best thing ever. It was awesome because it's I don't think I've ever gone to a restaurant and they made it the way that I would make it at home. And all I mean by that is just shameful amounts of cheese and everything, when I make tacos in the microwave, I get the bag of shredded cheese, I stick my hand in it and I grab a giant heaping handful and I slap it on everything and it's just cheese and meat overflowing. That's what this was. I was taking bites of this and it was cheese everywhere. And it was just gooey, stringy, pizza cheese type. I mean, it wasn't, but it was, oh, what is that stuff? Not the Oaxaca cheese, whatever. It's the better mozzarella stuff. And then the dip, and then there was lime, and I was like, I'll try the lime, and it was good, but I like it without. And it was the best. It was one of the best things. I think about it all the time. And I just keep thinking, we gotta go back there. We just gotta go back. My wife wants to go back to the Italian place. I'm like, or could hit up that Mexican joint, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, I tried it again and I was worried. I was like, I hope I don't just dislike birria. But dude, that was shocking how good that was. The meat was incredible. They did not skimp on the cheese at all. Very fat white dude from Wisconsin. They just saw me and they're like, put another handful of cheese on there or something. And I just wanted to just give them my savings. You know what I mean? Just take my savings. Now I'm hungry, dude. Now I miss that place. And it's funny too, because it's such a built up, nice looking building. It almost looks like a Texas Roadhouse or something. It's a big building. And so you expect it to be kind of commercial and you go in there and it's they really don't even speak English. It's oh, okay. So it's going to be really good food. Sweet. I thought it was going to be a Taco Bell or something. But all right, I'm actually going to leave it at that. Please keep the calls coming. Really appreciate that. I will see what I can do as far as Pavarotti. Otherwise, we might just save that for tomorrow because I already made a new song for tomorrow's podcast. So talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.